with all this stuff going on with that, like DJ, I mean, that shit keeps you busy, bro. Especially if you're living off and you're trying to produce music. When do you have time? You like to thrift. You've uploaded a bunch of things to your Instagram and your socials about thrifting and goodwill. And now you're entering, like, not only are we relatable because of music and DJing and for the love of house music and music in general, but like now it's like, holy shit, you picking up that Ninja Turtles t-shirt?
Yeah.
You selling it? You pushing it? Like, how is that working out for you?
It's always been a hobby of mine, especially my brother. My brother does that primarily. My middle brother, Bobby, he collects the comic books. I know you have a shit ton of comic books.
Big collector
Yeah,
here, yeah.
I remember you telling me that. He primarily does that. He goes to shows and stuff like that. But we've always had a thing for just either buying the stuff that we had that was thrown out, or even buying the stuff that we wish we had. Either we couldn't afford it or we just never got it. I mean, thankfully, my parents gave my brothers and I everything we ever wanted. But now as I'm older, I'm like, oh, shit, I remember seeing so-and-so in middle school have that. And like, oh, it's right here. Like, I could buy it. I love, it's the thrill of the hunt. You could relate to it. It's you've said a lot of the stuff I'm about to say on the podcast and your videos. It's the thrill of the hunt. And I just, I'm a 90s kid. So I just love all of that stuff. For me, it was the best decade, the best era. Everything that people love now and everything that's being re-released or re-retroed, we got to experience that when it first came out. It was original.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the thrifting, you never know what you're gonna find. And that excites me. I love going to flea markets, yard sales. I've been pushing back on it a little bit because I've been so busy. My only days off are like Monday and Tuesday. And a lot of the thrift stores are closed Monday, but Tuesdays I'm still going out. The swap shop is really good too.
That's that big one out
yeah,
in Florida,
yeah.
right?
It's a drive-in movie theater too, at night. But that place is sick. I'm getting older now, so I can't. In Boston, what I actually used to do is I used to DJ 2 a.m. It would be done. I would drive to whatever flea market I was going to that Sunday morning, sleep in the car, because they would also have a time limit on. They wouldn't let anybody in like before 7 or 8 o'clock, or even yard sales. I'd figure out where I'm gonna go. I'd sleep in the car, and I would like just go for it. But I have a little company called Nostalgiaholics where we sell all that pop culture, anything pre-2000s, primarily vintage clothes, because it's with 80s and 90s becoming so popular nowadays. I'm sure you know too, the flea markets, the yard sales, the thrift stores, there's scraps because everyone is looking for that stuff. And going back to the pandemic too, people realize like, oh, they're going through their closets, and they're looking it up on eBay, and they're like, oh my God, this is really worth this much. And just for the record, Mario Duck Hunt on Nintendo is not worth more than $1. I just want everybody to know that. That was the packing game. That was the packing game that was produced by the millions. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's worth a lot. And there's no value on sentimental value. But again, it's the thrill of the hunt. You never know what you're going to find. And I love displaying that stuff. I do resell a lot of stuff as well. And it's a great side hustle. And it's fun. It's fun, most importantly.
Do you find yourself going to a lot of flea markets today? Or I know you said you were doing it before. Is it something that you're actively doing? Would you say, hey, I'm going to go this week? You know what I mean?
Here and there now, because again, the scraps, or there's so much competition. Before, there was maybe only 2 or 3 guys or girls, including myself, that were looking for the same thing. Now everyone's looking for the same thing, or even if they don't like that stuff, because again, I love to collect that stuff first and foremost, but there's other people looking for that stuff that want to flip it, and unfortunately there's not enough, at least in this area, or the thickly settled, populated areas. There's just not a lot. But so I frequent Montana a lot, and when I tell you, I'm not saying where, I'm not I'm not putting that out there, but like you have to go. in the middle of nowhere.
I was just gonna say you're in the middle of nowhere with that.
Yeah.
Because I see your
I find a
reels and stuff.
lot of good stuff. I usually bring one little carry-on, and I end up having to buy luggage to take it back because I find so much stuff there. But again, you never know what you're going to.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. The Boss Podcast is sponsored by Amazon Lit. If you're looking to start an Amazon business or you'd like information on how to start an Amazon business, or maybe you already have an Amazon business and you're looking for guidance, knowledge, or education, you definitely want to check out the guys over at Amazon Lit. I got a link in the description. You can check it out and go ask them whatever you like. There's no obligation, but you can at least ask them and get some knowledge and education. If you've always wanted to start a business, now's the time to do it. There's no better time than now. Amazon Lit, appreciate you guys. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast. And now back to the show.